Hi, it's Dwyer, gamblersadvisory.com. Remember, the opinion you should follow should be your own. Just consider this video to be a second opinion from a complete stranger online. Now, I know my last video went more than 30 minutes. We'll cut that down considerably here. In my last video, I talked about 5 guys who I believe would give Floyd Mayweather a very difficult fight. Right? And I heard back from YouTube Nation. They mentioned a 6th. Several of you believe that this fighter, Erislandy Lara, would give Mayweather a very difficult fight. In this video, what I want to do is to follow up on that thread. Let's talk about it, right? The fighters I believe would give Mayweather a hard time would be Sergio Martinez. He's a southpaw. He uses the entire ring, stays outside, is able to dictate tempo, is very accurate with that straight left hand. He can hurt you if needed. He can come inside, hurt you up close. He keeps you busy by shooting a jab as he circles you. Brad Solomon, who quite frankly moves much better than Floyd Mayweather. Let me just say, Mayweather mentally might be a better fighter, able to figure things out quickly and able to operate whether he's up on the ropes or in the middle of the ring. But I believe Mayweather's not the same fighter he was when he fought Diego Corrales, because I believe the legs are the first to go, and we're watching a 35-year-old's legs slowly erode. Right? While Mayweather still moves better than most. He's above average in foot speed. Right? He's not as fast a foot as he was earlier in his career when he fought guys like Philip Endu and Diego Corrales. I believe Brad Solomon would literally be able to stay outside on Mayweather, would be able to come in with bombs. Right? Solomon is unbeaten. Understand, he's on the verge of breaking big. I believe he'd be able to come in with bombs. I think what you would have would be a Roy Jones style, that's who Solomon is, against a technician. And all I'm saying is it's very hard for any technician to deal with a fighter they can't catch up with. Right? Speaking of that, Amir Khan, I think, presents some of the problems Manny Pacquiao would, only in a bigger, more two-handed package, right? And that length dynamic, when added to the ambush style, the ability to jump in with flurries, the ability to do so with power, right? I think Amir Khan's style would present some problems for Floyd Mayweather. Floyd would have to catch up with Khan because Khan's a lead puncher and Floyd's a counter puncher, right? Khan comes in with flurries, then backs away. He's not waiting for opponents like Paul McCluskey to actually throw a punch before he engages, because Khan's willing to come in and lead. In fact, because all of these guys I'm naming can lead. I think that presents problems for Floyd Mayweather. Robert the Ghost Guerrero, all I'm saying is the Ghost has great technical skills. He's one of the sport's premier technicians. And even though he's the same height as Floyd, he's younger than Floyd. He fights taller than Floyd. Behind a jab, he's effective at keeping even the Michael Casidises of the world on the outside. Right? He beat Escovedo. Take a look at Guerrero's record. You're going to see Guerrero, style-wise, would be a problem for Floyd, right? He's another technician. I would argue Guerrero's a better technician than Erislandy Lara, right? He certainly is higher volume than Erislandy Lara. Then the last guy is a guy who, quite frankly, isn't even in the same weight class as Floyd. He is the hardest puncher, in my opinion, in the 154-pound area code, right? He hits harder, in my opinion, than James Kirkland, right? And that's Saul Alvarez. All I'm saying is a technician is relying on precision, right? Floyd needs to know the angles at which the punches are coming. Now, guys who are able to throw punches from odd angles, think Kenny Norton against Ali, right? Guys who can throw punches from odd angles and who can do so with feints and power always have a chance to beat a technician. And if you look at Canelo, quite frankly, Canelo's body shots in particular, he's throwing them from very odd angles. And he hits so hard, and he's so much heavier than Mayweather, right? Mayweather 147 for his last fight. At the time of the fight, Canelo 167, right? He hits so much harder than Mayweather that I have to put Canelo on the list. YouTube Nation believes that Erislandy Lara belongs on this list. After thinking it through, I don't. For everyone supporting Erislandy Lara, and I know he's looked spectacular against Paul Williams, against Ronald Hearns, right? What I want you to do is I want you to pull up the film, it's on YouTube, of Lara against Carlos Molina, right? Now, I would argue that of the two guys, Carlos Molina belongs on this list, not Erislandy Lara. You're going to see in that fight, which quite frankly, I thought Molina won. You're going to see that Molina, and let me just say this, I believe I picked Lara, well, I know privately I picked Lara to win that fight. Then I watched that fight and I saw Lara get undressed. What I saw in that fight was the blueprint on how to beat Lara. First, let's face it, Lara is too low volume. He can be outworked in the ring. One of the problems that technicians, Lara, Floyd Mayweather, has is that they're so busy looking for openings, trying to set up that clean counter, that the other guy can come in and just land more punches than them, right? Well, Floyd has found a way. Floyd is so good at countering that you don't notice that Floyd typically doesn't throw more punches than his opponent. He did against Cotto. But there are other Floyd fights where his opponent throws more punches than Floyd does. I believe Oscar De La Hoya threw more punches than Floyd in their big match, right? Well, all I'm saying is with Lara, he seems, in my opinion, to throw even less punches than Floyd. And so you had the gap punch-wise when he faced Paul Williams, right? As I said at the time, when the favorite fighter throws higher volume and looks more active, it's very hard to beat that guy on the scorecards. Well, I believe Lara has bigger problems than a lack of volume. Take a look at how many times he gets hit in the body by Carlos Molina. Take a look at how much of a problem he has moving around to keep up with Molina. Now, when I'm thinking about Floyd Mayweather, and I'm thinking, hey, well, Floyd's foot speed has dampened a little bit. Guys who move, Martinez, Khan, Solomon, have a chance to exploit that dampening. I don't believe Erislandy Lara does. Not only that, you look at the body punches that got in from Molina. You also just look at how slick Molina looks against him. Then you realize Molina was rusty for that fight. Carlos Molina had been outside the ring for a long period of time due to problems with managers or promoters, right? And you just realize that, quite frankly, if Lara were fighting Floyd that night and not Carlos Molina, and Floyd hits harder than Carlos Molina, even though Molina's at 154 and Floyd's at 147, right? Floyd hits harder. Floyd moves well. Floyd's left hook is underrated. It's devastating. Mayweather, when he wants to be, is a punishing body puncher. I mean, absolutely punishing as a body puncher. And then you see the body punches that got in on Erislandy Lara. you really have to ask yourself whether Lara would be able to handle the movement, the power, or the body punching of Floyd Mayweather. I don't think Lara would have the same chance to beat Floyd Mayweather that a Martinez, a Solomon, a Khan, a Guerrero, or a Canelo would have, right? Let me say this. I believe there's folklore that has developed around Erislandy Lara over 2 fights against taller opponents, right? Paul Williams and Ronald Hearns. But what's the common trait both of those guys have? Both of those guys, after they engage you, when they back up, they drop their hands, right? Both guys are so accustomed to being the offensively gifted guy in the ring that defensively they have lapses, right? Williams got knocked out with his hand low. Martinez was able to come over the top of it with a left hook, right? Well, all I can say is take a look at how Lara, who's also a southpaw, knocked out Ronald Hearns, right? Ronald Hearns, of course, dropped his hands. Lara was able to come right over the top of it. Now, it looks dramatic. You see a shorter guy, I believe Lara's about 5'9", knocking out taller fighters, right? And you see him do it with crisp counter punches. But really ask yourself, does Floyd ever drop his hands and have the defensive lapses of a Paul Williams or a Ronald Hearns? I mean, isn't Floyd's trademark? We just saw Floyd go 12 rounds with Miguel Cotto, where Miguel Cotto had a problem landing a left hook up top, right? Doesn't Floyd actually deconstruct you and actually take away your best weapon? In this case, it would be Erislandy Lara's straight left hand. My point is, the fights Lara has had where he's looked good, right? His last 2 fights against taller opponents with low hands that you can throw counters over, those don't apply to Floyd Mayweather, right? Mayweather would have his hand up. Lara's predominantly a left-handed fighter, right? Just like Floyd was able to neutralize Cotto's left hand, wouldn't he be able to neutralize Lara's left hand? Because Lara, unlike a Khan, unlike a Solomon, unlike a Martinez, Lara's right in front of you trying to throw that left hand, right? He's not moving around the ring like Martinez did against Matthew Macklin. I think you know Lara's left hand's coming. I'm not sure if you know Martinez's left hand is coming, right? And of course we know someone like Amir Khan, when he's on an ambush, as Zab Judah found out, right? He's throwing both hands, right? The point of ambush fighting is to overwhelm the technician, right? I believe those guys present more of a challenge than Erislandy Lara does, even though Lara is getting a lot of love. And let's face it, you know, he got the draw against Molina, and many people believe he got robbed against Paul Williams, right? So I understand he's the flavor of the month. But you're going to have to tell me if this guy looked as limited as Lara looked against Carlos Molina. His volume is so low, he's not even putting combinations together, right? As that fight aired, the commentary, listen to the commentators. The guys on ESPN thought Lara was just going for a knockout because he wasn't putting his punches together. Now, I know Carlos Molina is an underrated elite technician, right? I actually picked Carlos Molina to beat James Kirkland, right? Controversial fight, right? But all I'm saying is that wasn't even prime Carlos Molina. Molina wasn't even fighting as good as he did against Kirkland. That was rusty Molina getting himself back into shape, moving around the ring a bit, throwing body punches, and I thought he had Erislandy Lara completely baffled and completely confused. Don't you believe that Floyd Mayweather would do better, or at least as well, as Carlos Molina did against Erislandy Lara? Right? Wouldn't Floyd have more problems with the more faster-handed combination punching Amir Khan, or with the more elusive, better moving Brad Solomon, or with the herky-jerky outside style of Sergio Martinez than he would with Erislandy Lara? Let me hear from you. Let me know what you think. Leave your comments for me here online. Let's continue the dialogue. And if there is a fighter in the 147 to 154 area code that we've missed, who you believe would give Floyd an interesting fight, let's say a fight that's tougher than the fight Floyd just had with Miguel Cotto, I hope you leave your thoughts in the comment section of this video so we can continue the discussion. Thanks for watching.